Have you ever dreamed of doing something impossible? Something so extraordinary that only God could make happen? Maybe it's a bold step of faith, a relationship that needs restoration, or a calling that feels too big for you to handle. The amazing truth is this: we serve a God who specializes in the impossible. Today, we would explore what it means to trust God for the miraculous, to step out in bold faith, and to let Him work in ways beyond our imagination. Let's dive in.
God and the impossible. Throughout the Bible, we see God doing the impossible. He created the heavens and the earth, parted seas, healed the sick, and even raised the dead. As Jeremiah 32:17 declares, "Ah, sovereign Lord, you have made the heavens and the earth by your great power and outstretched arm. Nothing is too hard for you." A.W. Tozer puts it beautifully. God is looking for those with whom He can do the impossible. What a pity we plan only the things we can do by ourselves. Faith begins where human ability ends. As George Miller once said, faith does not operate in the realm of the possible. There is no glory for God in that which is humanly possible. Faith begins where man's power ends. So what impossible thing are you trusting God for? Two stories of faith that amazed Jesus. In Mark 6, Jesus visited his hometown and was amazed, not by their faith, but by their lack of it. Their disbelief limited the miracles He could perform there. Contrast this with the Roman centurion in Luke 7, whose bold faith led him to believe Jesus could heal his servant with just a word. Jesus was amazed by his great faith, saying, "I tell you, I have not found such great faith even in Israel." If Jesus looked at your faith today, would He be amazed by how bold and audacious it is, or would He be amazed at its lack? Trusting God in impossible circumstances, we all face situations that seem impossible. Financial struggles, health challenges, broken relationships. But these are only seemingly impossible. Jesus reminds us in Matthew 19:26, "With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." When we're backed into a corner, the wrong question to ask is, "What am I going to do?" The right question is, "Lord, what are you going to do?" God always has a plan for our circumstances. He is never caught off guard, and He knows exactly how, when, and with what resources to bring about His will. But we must stop relying on our own calculations and start trusting in His provision. Steps to experience the impossible. Ask boldly. Peter asked Jesus, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water." Matthew 14:28. He didn't wait for the storm to calm. He stepped out in faith, trusting Jesus to make the impossible possible. When was the last time you asked God for something so big, only He could make it happen? Take your eyes off the storm. Peter began to sink when he focused on the wind and waves instead of Jesus. Don't let life's storms paralyze you. Remember, God's power is not limited by your circumstances. Step out in faith. Faith requires action. Peter had to step out of the boat to experience the impossible. What step of faith is God calling you to take today? Let go of plan B. Trusting God means surrendering your safety nets. As D.L. Moody said, "If God is your partner, make your plans big." Faith doesn't mean you won't face challenges. It means you trust God to see you through them. God's promises in the waiting. Waiting on God can be one of the hardest parts of faith. We pray, we trust, and sometimes we hear nothing but silence. But God's delays are not His denials. He is preparing you for something greater. Isaiah 55:8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways and my thoughts than your thoughts." Think of Joseph, who endured years of hardship before God fulfilled His promise. What looked like setbacks were actually setups for something extraordinary. Living a life of faith. Faith isn't about knowing every step of the journey. It's about trusting God for each step. Hebrews 11:1 defines faith as confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. To walk by faith, you must be willing to risk, to trust, and to surrender control. If you're waiting for perfect conditions, you'll never step out. Faith is stepping into the unknown, trusting that God will guide your path. Closing encouragement. The God who multiplied loaves and fish, walked on water, and raised the dead is the same God working in your life today. Whatever impossible situation you face, know this: God specializes in the impossible. He is ready to do exceedingly and abundantly more than you could ask or imagine, if you dare to believe.
Thank you for joining me today. If this message encouraged you, please like, share, and subscribe for more faith-filled content. And remember, nothing is impossible with God. Step out in faith, trust His plan, and watch Him do the impossible in your life. God bless you.